It is that time of the week. It is Monday, and you know what that means, everyone. Time to punch your ticket and hop on board with me, Jasmin St. Join me and my wonderful guests as we take you into a wild journey on Off the Rails live stream. Hop on in the chat, ask questions, leave comments, or just sit back and watch the madness unfold. We'll be waiting for you. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday, and thank you so much for tolerating that tiny, tiny glitch at the beginning of the show. And it was so worth it because I have to say, I'm loving my new intro video. I want to give a big shout out to Bob of Strange Suspicion. His YouTube is right there. Check out what he has on there. He's got amazing stuff. But Bob, thank you so much for the best intro ever for my live stream. I'm so excited. And if you do go onto Instagram, hop on over to instagram.com/strange suspicion. But definitely his YouTube is where it's at. How is everyone today? I keep forgetting today is a shopping holiday, but I did not go shopping at all, except like last night I was on my Amazon and everything. Yeah, but it's been a week. I guess everyone's getting ready for this weekend for the 3 JCW shows coming up in Michigan. We have February 20th in Saginaw, Michigan at the Vault. Then the 20th. Then February 21st at Harpo's in Detroit. February 22nd at Garival Hall in Lansing, Michigan, which will be really cool. Those are some new locations, I guess, for JCW. And don't forget, if you like what you're seeing and liking what you hear, every other Wednesday, hop on over to iTunes or Spotify and subscribe to me at Crazy Train Podcast. I'm only putting out the other podcast every other Wednesday and doing the lives on Mondays because I feel like everyone's having so much more fun with me on here, I guess. Anyway, if you're in the market for a coffee, a really strong coffee, hop on over to supermassiveblackcoffee.com. That is supermassiveblackcoffee.com. Type in the code Mary, Benny, Nancy, that's MBN for 20% off. And you can get your mornings amped up or your evenings or whatever. Woo! Anyway, I'm sure a lot of you, exactly, Paul. Bob did do an amazing job with the intro for this. So please, everyone support his page. Go over to Strange Suspicion on YouTube. Support Bob's page. He's probably going to redo my other intro as well because he's so talented, like unbelievably talented. It's disgusting. Speaking of disgustingly talented in a positive way, of course. When I worked at JCW in Albuquerque, I knew that we had a new female on the roster that night named JRod. So I heard like all these things about her, but I actually got to see her in action. Now they call her the ultimate athlete, which she is. I personally feel JRod belongs in WWE. And I'm not just saying that because she's my guest, because if I don't like someone, I'll just flat out say it. I don't think I've never liked anyone that's been on the show, though. But yeah, I think she should be in the WWE. She could give any of those girls a run for their money. But on top of it, she looks different. And I feel as though with pro wrestling these days, especially amongst the women, and I'm not trying to bash anyone, I feel as though so many of them look the same. Almost, with the exception of the girls at JCW, because everybody looks different, but a lot of them look the same and have the same gear. Now, one of the things I loved about JRod was her gimmick, like just the American Gladiator outfit and the colors, because I love Gladiators. That was one of my favorite shows. Jacko is on here saying, yeah, I hope she has a Charles Manson story. I don't want to freak her out, Jacko, because everyone on here, almost everyone, started to have Charles Manson stories like Barnabas. But of course, like Barnabas, we expect to have a Charles Manson story because it's Barnabas. Anyway, let her in. I hope we haven't scared her off. Okay. Hi.
Hello. I wasn't scared off. Thank you.
Okay, because this Jacko Schmidt is obsessed with Charles Manson. Almost everyone's had a Charles Manson story. Um, you're normal though, so I don't expect you to have any kind of Manson stories. One man on here says he was pen pals with Manson years ago. Beastman said he had Charles Manson stories. Oh, he grew up in the house or grew up near the house where Manson was. Everyone says hi. I have to ask you, is that your natural hair? Is it always curly?
Yes, I like never straighten it anymore. It's probably been over a year since I've even like tried to straighten it.
Yeah, it's probably better off that way because you start putting all that heat in it and it just destroys the hair. And before any of the guys ask this question, I'm going to hop to it. What's your ethnic background? Because you have such nice olive skin.
Thank you. I do believe I have a little bit of German, Native American, but I need to do like the 23andMe like DNA testing to really find out what exactly I have. Because even when I asked my family, they all give me different answers too. So I'm just as curious as everyone else, but you know how you can spit in the tube or whatever and go see exactly what you are. I think maybe I need to do one of those.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. I did that a few years ago, and I still get these emails all the time. Hey, this could be in your extended family tree. I'm just praying it's nobody I know or have ever dated in my life, because that would just take it to a whole other level of weirdness. Um, I got to ask you, how did you get started in pro wrestling?
So I started actually after college because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I switched my majors several times throughout college. And I thought maybe a nurse or a teacher. And nothing was really like clicking as like, what is it that I'm can use my gifts and abilities for and do? And I actually found wrestling. When I was in search of like that of what I want to do for a living. And I came across wrestling and I wish that I had grown up watching it. So I had to do a bunch of research and um, do a lot of different like I don't know, figure out exactly what I wanted to do with my life and what it was that would give me purpose and passion. And I found wrestling and I was like, this is it. This is exactly what I want to do. So I trained with Rikishi out in California where I lived, Rikishi in Reno on Hawaii. So the bloodline.
Uh huh. Interesting. I had no idea you're out in California training with them. When was this?
So I started training with them in 2021 and I debuted in 2022 and then I just moved to Nashville um about a year ago. So I was there for several years and that's where I got my basic fundamentals and learned how to bump and do all of that stuff. So
That's so awesome. I mean, when I first took wrestling classes, I didn't know who was out. This is like in the late 90s. I didn't know who was out in California, right? I had no idea like Rikishi might have been training people. I got tied in with Mondo Guerrero. And
yes.
yeah, I just it was a very, there were some scary moments. So I would train with the luchas that came in, like these guys, they're probably my size and my height. Like back then, I was probably like a buck 20, a buck 15. I was really heavy. So um, I would train with them, but I'm like, yeah, I think I'll just stick to managing because of my size. Or I don't know which found me first, but that's interesting because I had no idea about Rikishi's school. What was your first actual match at a bigger company, whether it's OVW or I don't know, anything?
So my debut match, someone in the chat got it. I actually debuted on AEW Dark against
Oh,
Mercedes Martinez. So you can all watch my very first wrestling match. So, and I've come a long way, I must say, you know, but it was really cool to be able to have that experience as like my first non like Knox Pro match. So Knox Pro is the name of the school that Rikishi and Reno um are a part of out in California. And so I had only done like just, our student shows and stuff like that. But my first real match outside of that was AEW Dark. So that's kind of cool to say.
Yeah, I've met Mercedes before too. She's really super cool. But I feel as though still you're WWE material. And I know, but there is nobody in the chat that disagrees with me, right, guys? She should be in WWE. Like, that's it. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, I'm serious. Have you ever sustained a serious injury? Because I see you go, 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 and you look brutal. Not in a bad way, by the way.
Thank you. Knock on wood, no serious injuries yet. So, thankfully I do take pride in my like fundamentals and what, learning how to take a bump and fall correctly and do different things. And I must say, I don't do anything too crazy because I know like there's a time and a place for different things. And so, maybe on WWE or one of the big leagues one day I'll whip out like a springboard or something crazy, but I don't think it's necessarily worth it while you're learning and growing because there's so much to wrestling, so learning the fundamentals and how to work and how to be a part of matches, I think is just as important. And then you can add more moves and, more complex things throughout. But right now it's just learning everything, there is to know about how to really handle a match in its basics and then grow from there.
Yeah, that's so important. It sounds like you really haven't mapped out, whereas there's so many young wrestlers, probably in your age range, and they get into the business, but they're just so interested in just doing spot after spot after spot and just showing their stuff off and not really worrying about injuries and so forth. Are you going to be on the next three shows this upcoming weekend?
Yes, a little spoiler, I'll be in Michigan. I'm so excited.
I know. I'm so excited too. That's great because you're like the perfect addition to the roster, I think. Did you work with JCW prior to any of these shows?
No, this is my first time.
That's good. Was it what you expected?
Honestly, yes, because you kind of obviously JCW, so you go in, with crazy like crazy stories and things you hear, and I expected nothing less, but it was great. I'm like, this is amazing. Really good talent. I love the crossover between OVW and me and Haley and different things already going on. And Vince is a genius, a crazy genius. So I'm like, hey, this is gonna be great. It allows me to be a heel and a different like different promotion and learn even more. I already know, I watched some of my beginning promos on some of the first few episodes and that I was on, and I was like, okay, so this is gonna really put me out of my comfort zone to like be able to get better at that kind of thing. And I mean, these girls better watch out because JRod is at JCW.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but just the way everything, like I heard it when you were outside brawling with Danny. I heard you when you were there doing your thing with Haley. I'm like, okay, this is not going to end well. I wonder if there's a paramedic not too far off, but of course, you guys are safe and trained. And it amazes me because someone posted on Twitter that pile driver I took off the top rope before. And it fascinates me because I'm there doing this, and I watched something in AEW where they're doing some kind of bump similar to that, but it looks so poorly executed. Like the guy went straight back onto his head. And then you see other people like no selling. And that's one thing I have to give you guys props on. You all sold each other so well.
Thank
So
you.
congratulations.
I know some of these things are crazy, and I'm like, for what? One quick highlight reel, So, smarter, not harder, is what I say.
That's usually the good way to do it. Did you grow up watching wrestling?
I didn't. I wish that I did. It's one of those things that I found later, but I fell in love with, and then I felt like I had to do a lot of like back research on it because um it's been around for so long, and so I respect the industry, and there's a lot to learn and grow from. So I watched, all the way from Alundra Blaze, to the 80s, 90s, and, even some gorgeous George, so trying to like really grasp like the fundamentals, where it came from, and then put that respect back into wrestling. I think, um, I guess my opinion a little bit is some of that is lost in the storytelling and um, the characters, as far as, like you said kind of earlier, a little bit of flips and tricks and stuff like that, rather than the fundamentals and the storytelling aspect. So I want to bring more of that back, and I think JCW does a great job, like with stories and already being involved in storylines and and different feuds and different things. And there's some other ones coming up that I'm really excited for people to see that we've already filmed, but it's gonna be really cool, and I'm excited for Michigan too.
Yeah, those are some great venues, and Harpo's such lovely owners. The owner is from Moldova, I think, and his wife is the barmaid there, who I became friendly with. I'm always friends with the bartender. Not before the show, by the way, guys. Always past, like, after the show. I never done that.
A
Um,
treat.
exactly. So that's interesting that you're saying storytelling, because that is something a lot of companies lack. I know that you were at AEW. How long was that for? Was it just that dark match, or did they bring you back? And is that somewhere you'd want to go?
Um, it depends. I think that, I mean, from what you kind of mentioned on earlier, like WWE really is the ultimate goal. Um, and I mean, if AEW offered me a contract and different things, like maybe, but my heart is, I'm a WWE girly, so, um, I mean, I don't know. I think everything happens for a reason, and I'm trusting God's timing with everything. And if that ends up being, how I create more of a name for myself, then maybe. But I think that hopefully with American Gladiators and different things, like I can create enough value to go to the big leagues in WWE.
So here's a question. If you could bring in three male and female hot free agents to work with at JCW, who would they be?
Into JCW?
Yep, I believe that's
Okay.
yeah.
Um, hot free agents.
They don't have
Um,
to be hot looking, by the way. I think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Honestly, there's like been a lot of people lately that I've had conversations with that I'm like, wow, you would fit in, you would fit in, in different ways. Brittany Brooks actually would be kind of cool. She's a free agent right now, and she's like a mini blonde version of me, so I think like that dynamic would be kind of fun. Um, I definitely want to see more big girls, so I'm like trying to think on the independent level. Um, I'm like, come on, chat, pull through. Let's see. Here's some talent. Um, I mean, there's a lot, I loved facing Amazing Maria. She's a beast, so it's like I want like more big girls to go head to head with. Um, Geez, like I can't think of names here on the fly. Ah, is there any
Oh,
that you can think of that you're
yeah.
like
Um,
definitely?
See, I know a lot of foreign talent because I work in Europe as well. And let's go into some foreign indie talent, because we want to see different people. Uh, Jody Threat, yeah, she's been there before. A
Would she
local.
be considered a free agent over at TNA, or
I
no?
don't know. I guess someone said they met you when you before you became a babyface. Local Canadian independent wrestlers. Yeah, I would say, like, so. Let's go over into the UK if we want to talk about wrestlers that are independent that would do amazing, that have big characters here. And I want to get back to your American Gladiator stuff. Um, I would say Lou Nixon. He's got a very big Conor McGregor vibe going on.
Yeah.
Um,
Even Lena Cross, but she's now
yeah.
signed.
There's another wrestler, Leo Darwin, that's really good
Okay.
with different characters, and he's a really good heel.
I'll have
Uh,
to look at him up.
he should, yeah, he's amazing. And I mean, I don't really know too many people on the independents. I just kind of, stay within my little zone, and I kind of watch around, look around, but I just kind of stay focused in wherever I am at that moment. Tara Zepp, of course. She has a really good look, I think. Sue Young. See, I work with so many
Sue
deaf match.
Young would be cool. She's a
Yeah, she's
beast.
got a good look. Yeah.
I just got back from Japan. I did two little tours in Japan, and like Miyu um is really great. I'm like thinking like the girls over there are hard-hitting girls that, I think would fit really well into JCW too. That would actually be kind of sick, like a little Japanese rivalry in there too.
Oh, absolutely. I worked with Big Japan Wrestling. I think it's the first time they had a manager, really, which was interesting. And they had all these posters of Cork Hall for the shows, for the women's shows, and I got to see one. It was so incredible. Those girls are pretty stiff in the ring. Someone's saying the Omen needs to be in JCW. Not sure who the Omen is. Do you know who the Omen is?
No.
Okay. All right. Moving right along. American Gladiator. What is your fascination with American Gladiator?
So wrestling and American Gladiators at like their heights, like that was like that's all people watched. And so I feel like the timing of my wrestling stuff and then American Gladiators, I think it was meant to be. It's definitely, I feel like, a god thing. And I think that um I got casted as an American Gladiator because of my business mindset as far as even sports entertainment and stuff like that, and I think it just goes hand in hand. And I love it. I love being competitive, and in a show like that where you can be ruthless. And I would say that I'm a little patriotic as well, so to represent the US in that way, I think that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's what I love about it, by the way. I love your outfit because it is extremely patriotic, extremely USA, and everyone that knows me personally knows I'm all about that. JRod, did you not get any offers from any major promotion? I'm shocked if that's the case because you are a star. And like I said before, JRod belongs in the WWE, like case closed.
Thank you. I don't have any offers yet. I can, maybe this is the first time I'm announcing it because I haven't put it on any of my social medias yet, but I'm gonna work starting next week, start working with the Savannah Bananas. And so that's a crazy sports entertainment world too. And so working with them, that'll pay my bills for a little while. But I think just gaining value. I want to come in with a name. You see people like Jade Cargill, Jordan Grace, Stephanie Vicker, like people that have been established, and now they got signed and they're already like in main events, already on SmackDown and Raw and things like that. So it would be cool to build my name enough, in American Gladiators and stuff. I think if I just continue to build my name, like I can come in that way. I don't want to disclose my age, but I am like a little bit older. I'm not 22 or anything like that. So it's um that's who they're recruiting now, kind of. So if you do come in a little older, I feel like you do have to come with that value. And I have had a couple tryouts, and they weren't no. It was just keep going, like we like where you're headed, so I'm just trusting that. And if I would have gotten in when I thought that I was going to, um then American Gladiators would have never come. So it's like I think that, and then if Gladiators didn't happen when it did, then I wouldn't have been able to go to Japan. So I feel like everything is happening how it's supposed to, and I'm just going to keep going until you know something works out.
That's usually the best way to do it. And I feel as though like age really isn't a setback with anything because I didn't think 30 years later I'd be back in wrestling again, which is the weirdest, wildest thing. And I am very grateful for it. Um, and what are Savannah Bananas? That's
Savannah Bananas, it's like the Harlem Globetrotters of basketball, but in baseball. So they're very like corny and like, but they really do. Um, the Harlem Globetrotters
mhm.
um have their game is like set up to where the scores and who wins is already established, kind of maybe like wrestling.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Kayfabe, kayfabe. But in Banana Ball or Savannah Bananas, it's actually a competition. So these teams, these baseball teams, really do compete to like win in their games, and there are some like crazy rules. So there's a little bit of JCW in there, you know. But it's one of those things that um it'll allow me. I get to be like a cast member for the firefighters.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, and so I get to be like a firefighter girl that's like badass, lifting the dudes and getting the crowd engaged and that sort of thing. And so, and they travel all over, and so I'm hoping to pick up wrestling gigs as I'm traveling with the Bananas too. So, and they only work like like 1 weekend, 2 weekends, maybe 3 weekends, if that. Like that's like a heavy month if there were 3 games, but 2 to 3. I mean, 1 to 2 games or series of games a month, and so then the rest of the time I can kind of work out my wrestling schedule in between those.
And of course, go to the gym because you obviously have abs ridiculously.
Yes, that's where my
Amazing.
Planet Fitness membership comes in, because Planet Fitness you can pay and go to any gym, any state, anywhere. So
And the tanning salon too. They have an okay tanning salon. Um,
yeah, it's decent. It's like level 1 beds, but you know, as wrestlers, we want to be tan and jacked, and so it's perfect.
yeah, it's interesting because when we had the much longer tours, some of us would just go to the Planet Fitness if we had time. A lot of us would just lounge at the hotel room or at least just use the tanning salon. But we had like long 10-day tours for a while. It was intense, but it was fun. It was fun touring with ICP. Someone fuck Vito. Anyway, we're allowed to curse. Brian Idol. No, Brian Idol. Someone was asking when we had the question about the independence. Okay, Brian Idol is not an independent contractor, but we can't add him to the list. As far as hotness, yes. Okay. Somebody Paul wants to know what your memories were working with Tara Zepp and Maserati. Shayna Lazarus, is that her name? Shayna.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Both of those girls, I love Tara, her character. She's honestly like she's a good friend of mine, you know, when we see each other at different shows, like her and I get along really well. But she's a badass. I think that her hardcore stuff is insane. So I give her props for doing all the crazy hardcore things. And Maserati, she's a beast. She's gaining a lot of muscle. She's toning up. So I think that she, you know, is gonna be someone to look out for as well. But yeah, both of those girls are fun to work, and I get along with them both really well.
How many days out of the week do you go to the gym? I'm sure that's like the question everyone asks you, but I just have to know.
I typically try to go at least 40 minutes a day. Um, there may be like an off day a week, but I love the gym. It's like kind of like work, you know, like a day job. It's like something you don't always want to do, but you just got to go and make it count, you know. And I think that that's kind of the key, is just to put it as part of like it's something you got to do each day. So a little bit of abs, but I switch it up, you know. So it's, you know, back day on Monday, Tuesday like chest day, then you've got arms, and then you've got back and shoulders, you know, so you have like different days for different things, so you're not working your whole body each time. And then a little bit of cardio to keep up the conditioning side of things. And then like in ring training too, outside of the gym is really fun. I like to go in either OVW training, Miro or Rusev. I live in Nashville. They're about to open a school here in Nashville. So I'm going to be getting in the ring with WWE's Rusev and Gangrel. He's going to be one of the coaches there too. And so it's like, you know, you can't, I'm just going to keep getting trained by these legends, you know, Al Snow and Doug Basham over at OVW, Rikishi and Reno Onawai, and then now Rusev and Gangrel. I'm like, I'm just going to keep getting trained by these legends and, you know, try to become one myself.
I think you're on your way to some really great things, by the way. Michael
Thank
wants
you.
to know who is your favorite female wrestler, aside from
My
yourself.
my favorite female wrestler, I think I would have really good chemistry with Bianca Belair. I know she's kind of like the EST Ultimate Athlete, and she's a beast, you know. So and she's gaining more muscle, and I mean Rhea Ripley's awesome.
Hmm.
Charlotte Flair, she's the queen. There's a lot of girls in WWE that I'm like Nia Jax, since I got trained by the Samoans. I'm like, that's intriguing, to one day maybe face her and her be a base, because typically I'm the base, I'm the big girl. So
Hmm.
even working like some of the smaller girls like Alexa Bliss and stuff like that, I'm like, it would be fun to be able to like base for them and um give them the match, those like big little matches. But I love like a big girl, match too.
I can only imagine. I just can't think of really. The only other really big female I personally knew and worked with in the business was Nicole Bass. Do you remember her?
Yeah, yeah.
She
And
passed away.
Victoria, I mean, she
Who?
was Victoria.
Yes, yes.
Jazz, I mean, Jazz is over at the
Bass is a
PC
monster.
now with WWE. I'm like, she's a beast, so it's like I would love to go to over there and work with her. I want to get down to Natty School down in Florida.
Huh?
She has a training center. I just want to keep learning and growing, and I want to be not only known for my American Gladiator body, but I want to I want to be um, a good technical, like fundamentally sound wrestler, to where it's like, oh shit, she's more than just the looks. Like she can freaking wrestle too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great, I think you'll do extremely well wherever you end up. And I know it'll be somewhere sooner than later. So that's why I have to have you on here first before you get your WWE contract. Uh, do you have any memories on wrestling for Shine Wrestling?
Yeah, Shine. It was one of my goals to work with them, because they're kind of one of the bigger independent promotions.
Mhm.
And so when I got on there, finally, like it was really cool. Like I already knew like a lot of the girls, because the independent scene is so small. Um, you know, I feel like any industry, like the wrestling world, is like really just a small, thing. So being there and being at Shine, it was really cool to see like, a bunch of girls come together and it be an all girls show. It was produced really well, good stories and good production. And, I got to win and I got to shine at Shine.
Legitimately. Where are they based out of? Florida? They're in Florida also, right?
They're in Florida. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I thought someone mentioned them like a while ago. Someone who worked at MLW. Did you do MLW yet?
I've not done MLW. I'm working out my schedule right now, because I am kind of they're looking at maybe April time frame for when Gladiator stuff will air.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of waiting to see, what that may entail with that premiering and debuting and stuff. So and right now I'm pretty much booked through April, so I'm kind of just I'm trusting that it's all going to work out how it's supposed to. But MLW, I think that's a great program as well, and I think that um there are some girls on there that I wouldn't mind facing either.
I'm sure. And then someone, City by the Bay, Haley J versus JRod for the title. I hope so. That would be a very good match, I'm sure. But I personally like Stormy, so I'm in the corner with Stormy, like cheering.
Yes.
Both of you are amazing. It'll be great. Are you doing WrestleCon? Are you signing at the convention? Or?
Yes, I'll be there. Will you be there? I thought I saw a graphic of you. Did I not?
You see a zillion graphics of me every day because I post a zillion different people make graphics up of me. I'm working there at a table. Then
As
I'm
they
doing,
should, as they
yeah,
should.
thank you. Then I'm doing the JCW show, and then I think I have a couple more. Um, Someone said they hope their title is still with you. What title? This? What do you have a title right now?
I do from when I lived in California, but that
Okay.
promotion,
Yes.
it's called South Bay Championship Wrestling, but they kind of stopped running for a little bit, and then I moved And so I think they're starting matches and stuff back up, but maybe go and defend my title against some names, maybe bring in some girls over there to face me. I think that that's really cool.
Did you ever manage at any point, or were you just a wrestler from day one?
Wrestler from day one. I would like my own manager. I think that having a manager, a mouthpiece, things like that would be really cool. You could, kind of like that Brock Lesnar kind of style.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think at first with the wrestling, I thought that's what I'd end up doing, but truthfully, because of my size, that's why they kept me managing. I was working in Memphis for Memphis Championship Wrestling. I think it was Jerry Lawler's promotion. That's when all this started. So it was, it was interesting to say the least. And I believe that, you get better as time goes on with the more things you see and the more matches you work or you watch from the side of the ring. Now, you mentioned something earlier with certain age groups with wrestling. Now, I'll say this. I used to bring talent in to conventions to sign, and I would much rather deal with people over 25 for a reason, because they're more reliable and they don't get crazy or like start acting psychotic if a fan reaches over just to like take a selfie or a photo, and they're more level-headed to deal with. I'm assuming you're over 25. I don't know. I'm guessing. Um,
Yes.
okay, so usually people like that, when back in the day, um, when I was doing stuff for Penthouse Magazine, they would choose the older girls to be pet of the month or pet of the year because you could trust people like that to go out there and promote. So with wrestling, I feel like having girls that are a little older are better to have as champions, and going out there and representing the company. Have you ever had a crazy interaction with a fan at a convention that would make you not want to go back?
Not at a convention. Um, I like to talk crap, especially if I'm a heel. I don't like to be, some heels like will go behind the merch table and like act like they're all cool again. It's like if I'm a bad guy, which, with your podcast right now, I guess technically I'm a bad guy at JCW and I'm not acting very bad right now. But as far as like in a show setting, I stay in it the whole time. And so even like interactions with the crowd. And so this guy, like I bopped off his hat or something, he was I was being heel JRod, and I'm walking over by, like, still talking to the crowd, interacting with the crowd. Well, this guy got offended enough to where he walked to the bar. I thought it was maybe, like, thankfully, I think it was water, but he got like a full cup of ice water. He walks over, like, directly, like, face to face, and pours it on top of my head. And I was like, almost like, just like, all right, I'm not going to do anything because this means that I'm doing my job. I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And then it was water, and it was fine, but it was one of those things I was like, "Oh crap, like this just got real."
See, I don't know. Like, I could see myself arguing with Vito around WrestleCon because he's like such a shitbag. And see, I'm also a heel, so we can get along. It's fine. We can be nice to one another. Um, that's the other reason I had you on here. But I feel as though people don't know where the line is with fans, and I'm not saying anyone on here, but just in general, people don't get it. Like, you can't throw shit at wrestlers without getting a repercussion. You can't just hit someone or grab someone. John just said you should have poured the cup down the crotch of his pants. I would have loved that. And by the way, those of you just tuning in, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube page. Hop on over to iTunes, Spotify every Wednesday for Crazy Train Podcast. This week's guest is Violent J, but we're here with the lovely, gorgeous JRod tonight, which you guys have seen in episode 70 of JCW Lunacy. Do you ever feel uncomfortable signing at conventions?
No, I think it's fun. I've held my boundaries. I feel like I've tried to do a good job of that. Maybe it is because I am over 25. Um, but yes, no, I've only done like a couple like kiss cards. That was like the first time I had done anything like that. But like normally, people know not to mess with me, and I'd love for them to fuck around and find out.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful way to put it. I've had things thrown at me. My first day in for JCW, the first night was last year, and someone threw a Fago soda at me. It was like that little, it was almost like the shot of Trump where he almost got assassinated and it grazed his face. It was that close.
Wow.
Yeah, I have the clip of it somewhere. But I feel as though fans, you guys got to behave yourselves while you're out there. Yeah, there's some prima donnas who don't want you to touch them or put your hand on their shoulder or blah blah blah. What are your thoughts on heckling from fans?
Pay no mind. I try to give the good fans, the interactions, and so the ones that aren't necessarily um, giving off this, if they're giving me bad vibes or I find them creepy or weird, like it's like you just don't pay attention. But I feel like there's a lot of really good fans, and I love the JCW fans so far. They've been nothing but like cool and welcoming with me, so it's been really great. Thankfully no heckling thus far, but there's just, some weird DMs or some weird things like every now and then, but you just kayfabe it. You don't even give them the time of day, and it's like just don't put your time and energy towards those people. But in general, I'm like the fans that I've met and I have the utmost respect and love for. Like I ride with them. That's why I do what I do, and I think that you do too. Like the fans that are good fans are great. So
Yeah, it's a different journey, and wrestling fans are very special. They remind me of heavy metal fans. They're very loyal, and JCW fans and Juggalos are very loyal to JCW and the branding. So it's a very no matter how tired you are when you wake up going to the venue, once you're out there, you're there entertaining people, and it's such a fun rush and experience. And people should be grateful for those moments. I think today, with a lot of the much younger talent, it's more like an entitlement, and not anyone
yeah.
we know in our circle, but I just feel as though there's so much entitlement that they don't understand. You should be grateful to be here doing this. Someone has a word association for you, China.
Oh, okay.
So what's your word association when the word China comes up?
Oh, she's beast. Like China, she's the myth, the legend, like she's it. So she was able to hang with the guys. I like to think that I can hang with the guys. I know she's I think she was like 6 something, 6 foot something. So I'm not that tall. I am 5'10", so I'm on the taller side.
Oh.
But China, like she's one of those girls that, unfortunately kind of went down the wrong path with drugs and different things, but she did it all. She's been everywhere, she's done everything, and she's one of the goats for sure.
Trish Stratus.
Trish Stratus, like I have a character on WoW. Her name is Nikki Nashville.
Yes.
And she hones in a little bit of Mickey James and Trish Stratus, the cowgirl hat, and um she's also a beast. She's one of those small but mighty women, but she's always been someone that I look up to as well. She carries herself really well. She's a respectful girl, but she's still hot and sexy, and still can go, in the ring. So I think that's admirable too, to hold yourself, know what you got, and flaunt it, but don't do it in like a a hoe type of way, I guess.
A trashy way, because there's no such thing. You can't do that in wrestling.
Yeah.
Don't try to be trash with class. It's like pulling a pig out of the ghetto and trying to dress it up. It's still a pig. But I
Exactly.
um, okay, Lita.
Lita, she's definitely like tomboy, like cool, like she can go. Like I think her and I, would have a good match if she ever were to want like, her retirement match one day or something like that. I think that would be kind of sick. But she's the rebellion, she likes to go, she's with the Hardys. She's just like the cool, like collected, like she knows what she's got too, and she'll flaunt it in her own way, but she's just chill and cool, um and not like feminine but still sexy. So she's a badass.
Yeah, she reminds me of Tara sometimes, or Tara reminds me
Yes.
of her. One of my favorites growing up was Sensational Sherry, or Sherry Martel. And
Yep.
some viewers know the story. My very first mixed tag match in wrestling was Sherry Martel. It was me and
What?
someone else versus Sherry and one of the Doink the Clowns, because they're all over the damn place. And oddly enough, here's the 1 degree separation you and I had prior. OVW Wrestling, it's Al Snow and this guy, David Hero. David's the one that booked that match years ago and
Wow.
Milwaukee at a show.
I
Uh,
saw him yesterday at the pay-per-view.
you saw David?
Yes, he came to OVW.
Oh boy. Okay. I knew him. I've known him for ages. He booked me in Milwaukee, but he did a lot. He did a lot for me back then, um, by putting me on shows, and that was one of the best experiences that I had. If you didn't have wrestling as a passion, what would you be doing? And what were you studying in school? Sports management?
No, so maybe teaching, because then I
Okay.
could still work. I love being a mentor to kids and like showing them a role model of being like a strong woman in the world. I think that like um that's an aspect of wrestling that I'm really passionate about, is showing the little girls and got little kids, even the little boys, like dang, like there's strong women that can look good but be good wrestlers and stuff like that too, and good role models, try to not lead people in the right direction. And I think that's important. So maybe like the teaching route, because then my athleticism I could have used in like coaching, how sometimes like the teacher's like also the coach. But I don't know if I would make enough money with teaching that would like put me to where I want to go. I think wrestling is the only thing that's for me, and I think that there's no plan B. So I'm all in with wrestling. And it's wrestling or nothing. I'm like it's all in. So even my job, like I got a business degree,
Okay.
and so I had a big girl job. I was in medical sales out in California, when I was training and stuff with Rikishi. But I'm like, this isn't fulfill me. This isn't something that I'm using all of my gifts and abilities for. So I do think that like God gave me get this vessel, and the different things, and is shining a light through me, that I think that my purpose with traveling with wrestling and different things is to continue to shine that light. So whether it's good guy or bad guy, I'm here to like really show the world and entertain the world in that way. So yeah, no, I love wrestling, and there's no plan B. But if that wasn't even in the picture at all, maybe I would have went the teaching route. But
Mhm.
I think it's just that's it. Like wrestling has been in the cards the whole time. It was just a matter of time before like I found it and realized that.
Yeah, it reminds me very much of an old friend of mine who's an actor, who said that there's no plan B, like this is it. Because if you do have a plan B, you truly don't necessarily want to be here. Whoop whoop, Trailer Park Cinderella. Hi, I see you through my side eyes. I'm the same way, because I just feel as though it'll always be some part of me that's doing wrestling. I ran my own promotion for like 2.5 years and I got sick of it. But it will always be either hosting something, doing interviews, or wrestling, but it'll always be in that realm. I know that for sure. I can't see myself, I don't know, doing normal stuff.
I couldn't see you doing anything else either. Like you're meant to entertain and be like charismatic and wild. Like that's just
Yeah.
you. And so it's like where else can you do that? Not an office job, not a doctor or an attorney. Like you could be anything in this world, and it's like when you go through all the careers and paths, it's like, okay, what is it that you can be your full self? And then, if I was born like a mathematician or something crazy, it's like maybe I was supposed to, maybe my purpose was to work in aerospace or engineering or something in that world. But I'm like, no, like I was born with charisma, a good body,
Hmm.
like I've worked hard for it, but like in that sense of like, also being a mentor to kids and being in that aspect, I'm like everything that, wrestling is, I love. And like it does challenge me and I love to be challenged. And it allows me to get out of my comfort zone. And I think that growing and staying out of your comfort zone is so important, or else like you are stuck. I feel like so many people don't live up to their full potential because they're scared, and this world is scary, but you just got to keep like having that faith that, even though I don't know what's coming or what's on the horizon, I'm going to keep doing it because I know it's all going to pay off eventually, but enjoying the journey along the way too. But I think you were definitely meant to be in this world, and you wouldn't have fit fully yourself in any other world, so
So you mean driving an Uber won't be appropriate for me?
I mean, you could, and it'd be
No,
you'd
no,
be
I
a
don't want
very entertaining Uber. I would love to have you as my Uber, but that's not what you were meant to
to.
do,
No.
so.
I'd probably kick people out of my car and, say, look, get the fuck out before I beat your ass because you're really pissing me off. Stuff like that. So maybe it won't.
I'm like, you wouldn't even let someone in your car. You'd be like, no, you look too drunk. You may vomit. No, thank you.
Oh, yeah, you have really cheap, horrible perfume on. Please don't get in my car. Lock. Uh, but I think, I feel as though I have to do it. I feel as though now I have the idea. Apply for the job, see if I pass the background check, which I don't think I'll pass, but then um, do it for the day and just videotape the whole thing and just watch what happens.
Actually, if it was more entertainment aspect and they were recording you, then it would be funny. I would tune
Exactly.
in to watch that.
So JRod, uh, City by the Bay wants to know. I think your future is as a baby face. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, yes, babyface I find more challenging. People say heel is more challenging, but I think babyface because you have to, as a heel, you can give no fucks, right? And so as a babyface, you have to, I don't know. I feel like I do come across like people don't like me for whatever reason. I don't know why. Like it's more of like I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those people, if there's jealous girls or like dudes that have it against women. If I get pulled over by a cop, I'm the girl that they're like, oh, you're probably used to getting pretty girl treatment, so I'm going to give you the worst of it. And I always get stuck with like the worst of things, but it's like I'm okay with that because it's building character and resiliency. But it's one of those things I'm like, uh, I guess the baby face is like fun and I can like shine in that way, but I'm definitely I'd rather be a heel because I can lead, as a heel you lead
Mhm.
and you can just I can be almost like a Mr. Perfect, someone that's like trying to be like I'm too cool for school, or I'm the ultimate athlete, whatever, but the face stuff is fun and it is me. I feel like I've been talking about God and being a mentor to kids and like I'm very like corny. I'm working for the Bananas, so I'm like very baby facey, but I'm also like fuck around and find out.
Someone says they need to see you. Okay, I could see her in a big promotion. Yeah, of course, duh. Um, and that you'd be great with who is it? Chad Gable. Um,
Yeah, he was an Olympian. Like he kind of was like he's the newer Kurt Angle of our generation or whatever. So because I'm assuming he's like American themed, that's why they're saying and a powerhouse, like that's why they're saying that.
so Mr. Thomas, I think is that his name. I can't see it too far. I don't have my contacts on. Um, you should okay. You have a clear path to the top, JRod. You've got this, girl, which is so sweet, and you do.
Thank
You're very
you.
focused, which is extremely important in really in anything in life. Jasmin for JCW showrunner. Yeah, who knows? I mean, who knows? And that's the best thing. Sometimes it's just the unknown of what happens, what your next spot is, but it always works out. Like 2 years ago, when I stopped working for this shitty deathmatch company, I felt like it was done and over with for me. I'm like, oh my God, this is just horrible. But yeah, it wasn't. It was
But it was
actually.
everything happened for a reason, and now you're here too, JCW. I think it's great um what you're doing, and your character's perfect for everything. And thank you. Like I'm gonna continue to trust the process. I don't know what's on the horizon. I have the same questions. I'm like, what more can I do? You know, like it's like I moved across the country. I'm getting trained by the best. I became an American gladiator. I'm like, I'm making the sacrifices. I'm doing the hard work, like, different things. I'm like, what more could I be doing? And so it's like at this point I've come to realize like it's not that it's not a matter of if, it's when. So I'm just going to trust that I am continuing to progress. So as long as I'm continuing to go and not quit, like something will happen.
Oh, it always works that way. I had this talk with PCO earlier, even though I'm not supposed to be speaking to him. Um, we had this because he speaks French as well, so it's nice to always have that,
That
friend you can
is
speak with.
nice.
Yeah, oui, c'est très bien. But yeah, we talked about that because he's someone that's kind of closer to my age. I can't believe I said that, but he said you can get breaks so like at different ages in your life, which is true. Sensational Sherry was no spring chicken; none of them were. Have you ever met Rico? He was an American gladiator too. Rico Suave. Rico.
Rico. No, I haven't met Rico. I think that they're planning on doing some sort of like when it comes to PR and stuff for the show that's coming up. I think that they're going to try to bring like the old school guys in with the new school. The original creator of American Gladiators was like on set, but there wasn't like the older generation of American Gladiators there. But I would have loved to have them there and pick their brains because that's also a cool thing to pick. Just like I do with wrestling, I'm like, I love talking to people that have gone where I want to go. So it's cool. That's the same. I feel like in that world would be Rico.
Um, Thank you very much, City by the Bay. That was a sweet, what is it? A sweet compliment. Hey, Jasmine. Hello, JRod. You're my new favorite female wrestler. You are amazing. Well, we know that. Uh,
Thank you.
who is your favorite female gladiator?
I would say Ice. She was really
Yes.
cool. She she's a beast. Yeah. Yeah, I would say her. She's goaded.
Yeah, she's my favorite. I think her name was Lori Fetrick or something or
Yeah.
another. I loved her. I believe that I was at a barbecue a few years ago with someone who was the showrunner for that show or something like that. I wasn't drunk, by the way, but she just said, "Oh, she had a reality show based upon this, and you'd appreciate this." So she said, "Oh, well, I had it because I just thought it would be nice for people who haven't been on TV to be on TV. They didn't really have to be the best athletes." Okay. So I said to her, "Isn't that kind of pointless? Like, can't people get hurt? And people who don't work hard enough to be good athletes don't deserve to be on a TV show like that." So for the rest of the barbecue, she said like nothing to me. I have no idea what I said that was offensive. So moving right along.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's true. When
Yeah.
Big Dick Dudley
Yeah.
was alive, he went on an audition for American Gladiators, and he started flipping people and just throwing them all over the place and left. So he was legitimately hurting people, but he did it on purpose. It was a great rib. Moving right along. So everyone has their
There
social.
was
It
there was
was
a lot there were a lot of contenders during our filming that ended up getting injured. So it's they're competing for real money, and so there's no faking it. We have to be gladiators and play fair as far as give everyone the same treatment as, and try to compete with them as hard as we can. And then if they get past us gladiators, then, they get points as contenders. So we're trying to get them from not getting points. And so there's some hard hit. It's going to be a very entertaining show.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be cool. I like it when people do things outside of wrestling. It's just interesting because you have people that just do the wrestling and don't do anything outside of it to keep building the brand, which is what you're doing great at. By the way, guys, make sure you follow her on Instagram.com forward slash JS Roden. Do you have anything you'd like to plug before we go?
Watch JCW this week, or I don't know if the episodes will come out
Thursday.
this week. Yes, Thursdays. Oh my gosh, there's gonna be some big ones coming up, and then we're gonna record some more this week. If you're in Michigan, come see us. Um, Maybe Savannah Bananas a little bit. I'm gonna go be a firefighter with them. Watch Gladiators when that comes out. I'll be in Vegas for Mania Week. I'm doing a show in Atlanta coming up. Down in Texas coming up. New York, Vancouver. There's going to be a lot of different areas that you'll be able to come and check me out. So just follow me on socials. I'll post when I have matches, and I'm really excited to just meet and see new fans. And JCW's been great, and I hope to keep sticking around.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to have you as part of the crew and work in these really cool storylines. But thank you so much, and I will see you this weekend, my dear.
Yes, I can't wait. Thank you. You're awesome, and thanks for having me on.
Yep, thank you, and God bless. Take care.
Thank you. God bless too. Bye.
Okay, guys, that was just JRod. So make sure you follow her at JS Roden. And of course, I want to thank once again Bob from Strange Suspicion. His tag is right underneath on YouTube. Thank you so much for putting together that amazing intro for my show and everything else. And thank all of you every week for tuning in religiously to the show because it really means a lot to me and to my guests, of course. So make sure you tune in next week for Mac Davis, who will be my guest, who is a newcomer to JCW Wrestling. And in the meantime, have a great evening and stay frosty.